like your videos, Grade 7.
Alright, YouTube, today is a big day. It's actually a big day for two different reasons. Reason number one, today is my father's birthday. Happy birthday, Grant 7 Sr. I know everybody out there in YouTube land is wishing you a happy birthday as well. Because if they don't, I will unsubscribe them. Reason number two, today the Monte Carlo loses its carburetor. Seems like only yesterday, it was 1972, and this car got its first carburetor. Fast forward a few years, it's probably got one or two more carburetors. But the car's ready to move on. The car said, I'm ready to be a man. He wants to use fuel injection. And you know, it's a turning point in this car's life, and sometimes you just gotta let him grow. You gotta let him grow. So that's what I'm here to do today. I am going to help this 1972 Monte Carlo grow. Alright? Let me start off this video by showing the lights, because a couple of you guys contacted me asking, was the driver's side light brighter than the passenger side? Excuse me. In the original video, it was the original light because there was a ground issue. But I have taken, see how bright it is? I have taken care of the ground issue, and they are. I think it just kind of was depending on the angle in which I was filming. So no, they're both very, they're equal. They're fine. I took care of the ground issue with this light, so everything is there. All right. Now moving on to the business at hand. So this is actually going to be the last video of this 1972 Monte Carlo as a carbureted car. So I'm about to start the conversion to convert this thing over to fuel injected. So I'm going to be doing that using this FiTech kit, which is never buy a carburetor again. So it only does one carbureted, so I'm going to install this kit. So actually, it comes with everything. It's a pretty nice setup. It comes with everything that's needed, including this bung. What happened is, now that it's going to be fuel injected, you have to put an oxygen sensor in it. But it even comes with the oxygen sensor, so it's a very nice kit. Hold on, let me move this a second, YouTube. This is the heart of the system, so this will replace the carburetor. So, looks good. So we're going to see. So I know after I do this video, all the future customers are going to be contacting me to see if I can do it to their cars. So I'm pretty sure, guys, you're going to see me do this conversion quite a few more times, but right now, this one is the first one I'm doing, so we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how the car runs and drives and performs. You know what I want to do? I'm going to set up this camera right here, because basically, I want to record it one more time as a carbureted car. That way we can kind of get a comparison by the end of this video of how it starts and runs as a fuel injected car. I'm sorry guys, I'm a little tired. It's been, you guys know, it's just been long days. I'm trying to get this thing done out of here. This is really the last step. So before I started, in case it's a little loud, the starter on this car is bad. Hold on. Actually, I'm replacing it with this Power Master high torque starter, but right now the factory starter that's on it right now is bad, so the car's a little loud. And also I'm going to be tracking down that whining noise. So give me a second guys, let me start the car. see from the other side, but it looked like the car sped up a little bit just before it started. Well, I guess that's part of the issues that he's having with this carburetor, or whoever installed the carburetor. I don't think the carburetor's dialed in. I think they just pretty much took it out the box, installed it, and put it on the car. I don't think they dialed it in, but either way, he doesn't want it on the car. So what I'm going to do is get ready to get started. I'm going to take off this setup, and I'm going to start installing this EFI. I'll cut you guys back on YouTube. Oh, that's the G7 shop shirt. Turn this around. Alright. Yeah, that's the G7 shop shirt. So some of you guys got it. I've been giving it to all the customers lately, but you guys wait to see the new t-shirts that's coming. These are just shop shirts. But anyway, so the FiTech is sitting in place. I'm at the point now, I don't have it bolted down, and the only reason why is because I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to use it with the spacer. The carburetor was sitting on a spacer, and basically the only reason why I sat it there is because it's hitting a vacuum port in the back on the intake. I might be able to turn the vacuum port for clearance, and if I can do that, then I should be able to sit this thing directly on the intake, because I really don't like using spacers unless you absolutely have to. So I'm gonna work on that second. That's the only reason I didn't bolt it down yet. And I'm just going through the wiring to see. It's a couple of plugs that are here that need to be sorted out. Not too many, but a couple. We got these here, and there's something else back here. You got this and this and that. Anyway, so the issue I'm having right now as I'm looking at everything, as when I looked at the directions, it shows that there's a yellow wire, I guess that's going to be this one, that has to go to the electric fan. The problem is, I don't know who put these fans in, and this wiring is butchered. And, you know, there's one color up here, but you guys can see you got wires bulged up here in the corner. I'm not even sure what this is or what it went to, but you got that bulged up in the corner. And then as you follow the harness down, you know, there are wires that change colors. So this one started off red, and then it turns green. So it's going to be green on this end. But then you have, so I have, this is a relay that goes to the fans, but you also have like broken wires here that go to nothing. This relay, I don't even know what this goes to. This wire is attached to it going to nothing. This wire is bundled up. There's this plug, I have no idea what that goes to. And I already had to touch some of the wires just to get the lights to work properly, but there are other wires and pigtails, and as you guys see, so I didn't do this. I don't really know what's happening in there. But now the issue is, before I can wire anything else into this system, I have to make sure that the wires that I'm connecting to are in good shape. It's not likely that they're gonna be, but I have to at least make sure that what I'm doing now, most of this stuff is gonna get wired into that MSD box. So that wiring, whatever's going over there, should be okay because the MSD box is new. So that should be okay. I'm going to wire a lot of stuff, the ignition stuff, that way. The stuff that's got to go to the fan concerns me a little bit, because on top of that I have this bundle here as well, and I don't really know what's going on here because there's two more relays. So I guess there's a relay for power, and then it breaks up again for the relay for each fan. So you guys see what I'm up against. Now, So what I have to do now, before I even do this, is I have to pull the schematics for the wiring for this car, because the colors are not all right. Some of the wires are packed. I really don't know what this wire is. So I'm going to pull the schematics. But, I don't know if I told you guys, I probably didn't, but on my deals page, the G7 deals page, I have a link if you guys ever need to download manuals. They have all different kind of manuals. I mean, they got tons of manuals for just about every car. They got them for cars, motorcycles. They got them for trailers. You know, they got tons of manuals. I don't know if I told you guys about that already, but that's where I'm about to go. I have to download a quick manual for the wire harness for this car. I need to see the schematics of the wires so I can see, one, what the colors are supposed to be, and two, where they go, so that way I know what they cut into in order to make the fan work. Now, I've never heard the fan work, but I drove the car and it didn't overheat, so I guess they might work or come on at some point, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, so if you guys need a manual for your car, much cheaper than the auto store. I mean, it's a download, so you'll have it in like minutes. Just check out the G7 deals page. I'm going to put the link at the bottom of this video for the G7 deals page, and just click where it says download a manual, and you can get a manual for your car. I mean, most cars is like $10, but if you guys need a manual, it's there. So anyway, let me run up and get one for this car so I can see what this wiring is, and I'll cut you guys back on when we get to the next step. Alright, so this is the fuel command center. So basically what this does, it takes the fuel that comes out the mechanical pump, it pressurizes it, and gives it the pressure it needs to be able to feed the fuel injection. So I believe this is more like a sump pump. I guess it's just probably a big electric fuel pump on the inside. So this is the next obstacle that I'm coming into, because this has to mount here. This is the only place I really can mount it, which will be here. You don't want it on the side next to the battery, and there's no room over there. So the issue is that, hold on, it comes with these mounting brackets. The thing about the mounting bracket is that, I don't know if you guys could tell, I really don't want to see, it's narrower at the bottom. That's where these brackets go. So the problem is that that's going to put it here. But in case you see, there's nothing here, see? So, can't mount it up here, because that'll put it near the top. Doesn't fit. It fits down where it's narrow, so it's going to be here. See the problem? So anyway, so now what I have to do, I'm going to make a plate that's going to mount from the fender down to the bottom in order to mount, because there's actually two of these, so it'll mount like that. So now I have to get ready to cut out a plate in order to mount it here. Now, with different cars, the application will be different. Some people are mounting them like here and all of that, but I can't because the lights are right there, so I'm going to have to do it here. So what I'm going to do now is get ready to make a plate. Got to cut a plate out, and there it is. Got to take some measurements and get this thing set up. Cut you guys back. See this pile of wires? I have cleaned up the harness. All of these wires are the unnecessary wires that I removed out of this harness. Look, you can't even see the harness. Look how clean that looks right now. I already tucked it. Look how nice and clean that is. So this is unnecessary. This could go. Get that out of here. So anyway, I've already started working on the plate. So now what I have to do is take this, put it up against the plate. You guys will be able to see it. But I'll mount this to the plate. So Only thing I have to do now, these are the brackets on here. So the plate is already in place. So what I have to do now is mark the holes for the bracket and then drill them out. Take this back off, paint it, and then I'll mount this in the spot, and then I can begin the plumbing and the wiring. Look how clean that is. Oh, beautiful. Even that big bunch is gone from back there. You see that? Alright guys, let me get this together. I'll cut you guys back on. So, the plate has been painted, it's been mounted, the brackets are in place. Let me see if I can pull you in. Oh my. So, it's ready. So the only thing now I have to do, just put this in one last time. If you guys are wondering why I still left the plastic on it, the reason why is because it keeps it from getting scratched during the mock-up stage. So once I'm 100% happy with everything I'm doing, I will take the plastic off and mount it permanently, but that's it. Nice and tight, exactly where it should be. I have good clearance all the way around. It's not going to hit anything here, nothing. So now all I have to do is hook up the lines, hook up the fuel, hook up the power, and hopefully this thing will be ready to fire. Okay, so I removed the FiTech throttle body. It's right here. The reason why is because you guys see this port right here. This port, this vacuum port, is interfering with the FiTech throttle body. You see this sensor here on the back. When this thing is mounted, the sensor is hitting it. So even though I can turn it a little bit, it's still a little too close. It's a little closer than I'm comfortable with. The thing is that it had this spacer on it. So when you put this spacer on it, it raises it above so it'll clear it. But the issue I have is that I don't really like these spacers. I use them if you absolutely have to use them, but I definitely don't like to reuse them. If you notice, if you look at it, you'll see that there are impressions on it. Right, so those impressions are left from the carburetor. And the fact of this is from the old gasket. So the problem is between this residue from the old gasket plus these impressions that are pressed in here, the issue is these impressions are not going to be the same as the bottom of this, which means once this thing is mounted, there's a very good chance that it's going to leak. There's going to be a vacuum leak. So even if you sandwich some gaskets on it, which you need to do anyway, the surface is just not smooth enough. It's not really worth the headache. I go through all this work and I find out I got a vacuum leak. I'm going to be highly upset, YouTube. But aside from that, I am going to clean out this area here. I'm going to move that port. I'm going to route this a little better and be able to put down a new gasket, and it should sit flush on there and we should be good to go. So I'll cut you guys back on, but hold on, where's my phone? So before I go, you guys remember Luna and Soleil? They sent me some messages. So I'm going to give you guys one of the messages now.
Oh my, Grand 7, keep it up.
Alright, so the throttle body's been mounted. I was able to mount it without the spacer. Everything worked out like I wanted it to. So now it's flush on the intake. So the other thing that you have to know about these throttle bodies is that they ground through these studs. They ground by being on the intake. So that's the way that system works. So it's better that I'm able to, you know, get it as close to the intake as possible. I mean, I'm sure it'll work fine with the spacer, but not the spacer I had. And like I said, I don't like those things unless I have to use them. So anyway, the electrical work is done. Right now what I'm doing is running the fuel lines. I just removed this fuel line off of the fuel pump because I have to alter it a little bit. Right now it's angled and everything to run up to the carburetor, so I have to cut it and angle it to make it come across so it can reach the fuel command center. So after I do that, this thing will be ready to start. I just got to finish up these lines. Like I said, all the electrical work is done. I mean, it's 2:45 in the morning, 2:45 a.m. Yeah, I'm a little tired, but I definitely want to finish this line before I leave. So I'm not going to start it tonight. What I'm going to do, because if I start it tonight, next thing I know, I'm going to try to drive it tonight. Next thing I know, I'm going to end up in El Segundo. So what I'm going to do is just take care of this line, put this back on, call it a night, and first thing in the morning when I come back, I'll finish up the other line and turn the key, see what happens. Alright, YouTube, I'll cut you guys back on. Alright, YouTube, so we're at the home stretch. I'm underneath the car right now, about to install the oxygen sensor. I'm already drilling the hole out. Now, the reason I'm putting it on the outside is because it's too close to the pan on this side. See that? I'll put it next to the pan, and then I gotta worry about the linkage here and stuff like that. So here I got nothing in the way, so I should be able to just put this thing in and get it done. So alright guys, we're at the end. I gotta get this bung put on here, put the sensor in, and we should be getting ready to fire up. So I'll cut you guys back on. Alright YouTube, so you see where we are right now. Car's back on the ground. Everything is hooked up. So now I'm at the point, hold on, key gotta be on. Oh, sounds. Okay YouTube, so now what I have to do is get this thing set up to be started. Initial setup, engine setup. This is 8, this is 350. Use this hand. I'm a lefty YouTube. Trying to get this stuff done with the right hand. See what else we got. Cam, rev we'll leave it 7. Idle leave 800. Okay, so I'm gonna send this to the ECU. Succeeded. Good, good, good. Now we're gonna go back to fan control. The fan option, what I did was I kept the original fan set up, so we're gonna disable the fan, send that to the ECU. Oh my YouTube. We're looking like something AC controls, see what that is. Disabled, we don't need that. Alright, we almost ready. Now, what I'm going to do before I start it, I'm going to prime the pump a little bit. You heard the pump, the electric pump kick on, but remember the mechanical pump feeds the electric pump. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut you guys off. I'm going to crank it a few times. I'm going to disconnect the electric pump and crank the car a few times so the mechanical pump can pump some fuel into it. And then I'll cut you guys back on when it's time to start. Alright YouTube, so everything is set. I spun the car over a few times to get that pump primed up. I think it's ready to start, YouTube. I think it's ready to start. So, I'm getting ready to turn the key. Now keep in mind, the old starter is still on it. Remember I told you that old starter is loud. So that old starter is still on it because I don't want to wear out the starter while I was cranking and priming this thing, getting it ready to start. So, you know what, let's just start the car. Hold on YouTube. Let me put this right here. You guys can see what's going on, I guess. self-learning system. Idling a little high, but the engine's still cold. This is the first start. The engine is still cold. You hear it coming down? Nice. This is a self-learning system. So I'm going to let it idle for a while. Let everything got set up. Let the computer take in all that information. Let it read all these sensors I put on. And see what happens. But the RPMs are dropping. What we need. Nice. Cold start. Vic, you have fuel injection, my man. You have fuel injection. Oh my, YouTube. Oh my. Oh my, YouTube. See what it's looking like in the back. Smoking. This motor's still cold. Oh, that's so pretty. Let me open the door a little bit. Beautiful. Alright, YouTube. I'm going to let this thing warm up. And I'll cut you guys back on. Alright, YouTube. So, the Monte Carlo's been running for a few minutes. And, the idling has come down. It seems like it's getting to where it needs to be. Now, this is a self-learning system. So what that means is as the car runs, the car is learning. The computer is learning the car as it runs. It's going to learn the idle. You set the idle, and it'll make all the adjustments that needs to be done. Now, I don't know how long it's supposed to run before everything is dialed in. But, you know, I don't think it's really going to learn until you start driving it. But anyway, we're almost at the end, YouTube. The only thing I got left to do now, I'm going to change that starter. You guys heard that starter. That starter's horrible. I'm going to change the starter, and I'm going to change the alternator, and take this thing for a test drive. By the time I drive it around for a little bit, it should be dialed in. It should be good. And then it's going back to the owner, YouTube. This car is done. Let's go inside. Now, you see, it still has some smoke, but according to my phone, let me see where we are. New York right now is 37 degrees right now. So, I guess it's like taking a little while to fully warm up, but sounds better, YouTube. See, the idle is jumping between mid-7s and 8. I have the RPM set at 8 right now. I wanted to get it warmed up, wanted to get it hot, and the cooler temperature is 168 right now. So the car's doing. But look, no shaking or nothing. Car's running good. So I'm gonna let it. Let's play with it a little bit. Woo! Woo! That right there. what I've been waiting to hear. Come on! Can you hear that? Vic, you got fuel injection and it's strong. Woo, I can't wait to go for a drive. Alright, YouTube, I'm going to let this thing run. I was going to wait to see if it dials in, but I don't really think it's going to dial in until you take it for a little spin. But I need to just tie up a few things. I need to run the controller inside and stuff like that. Just double check everything, make sure everything is safe. And then that's it, YouTube. We're going for a drive. Next video, test drive and taking it back to the owner. Alright? Grant 7 Autoworks and new cars. Alright, YouTube. So I just cut it off. I let it run for a while. Now I'm letting it cool down, and then once it cools down, I'm going to start it again. But anyway, this is the end of this video. What I think is going to have to happen at this point, I'm going to have to drive it. Like I said, it's a self-learning system, so the longer it ran, the better it sounded. I think overall, I think it's a good system. Anybody that's tired of a carburetor, this is the way to go. If you don't want to do a full motor swap or anything like that, I mean, for the money, it's a good system. They do make different models, but, you know, for the one that he has, this is a Ghost Street 400 horsepower setup. It's a good system. I'm going to take this thing for a drive, and I guess we'll see how that goes. But since I know a lot of you guys are going to probably ask me about it, what I'm going to do is put a link on the G7 deals page. So underneath this video, if you look right there in the description, yeah, right there, right there. There's going to be a link for the G7 deals page, and when you click on it, you'll see a link for the fuel injection conversion, and that will take you to this item. All right, so I guess if that's it. That's it. I'm tired, YouTube. Oh, let me say this. The install on this is something that can be done within a day, a few hours. The reason it took me so long is because you guys saw it throughout the way. I mean, it's things that had to be corrected. So I had to undo things, then redo things, and then get to the install. So if your car is not what you just watched, you can do this in a couple of hours. You can do this in a day. I thought it was going to take me like a day, but you see, I had to correct some things first. So overall, now it's safe. It's clean. The only wires you really see is this one. This is the wire for the controller, but I'm going to snake that inside so you won't even see that. And by the time I put the breather back on, you probably won't see that one either. So the install is clean. Everything works. I'm happy with the way it came out. So that's it. Alright, you guys are interested in buying a setup like this, go to the G7 deals page and click on the fuel injection conversion kit link that I've added there for you. Alright, that's it. Grant 7 Autoworks at newcarsuck.com.
My empire will not be denied. Must I say it again? My empire will not be denied.